What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen the title was going out. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. Got it right here. It's been, years since Carmelo Anthony, has, unalived, Austin Metcalf. It's definitely a sad story. If y'all don't know about this story, definitely check it out. Trial is coming up. It says here Anthony's family has raised 1.4 million online after he unalived Metcalf and moved into a new house. Not only did they say a new house, but cars, clothes, everything, and then she got on, their little press conference that they had, and said that a lot of it's not true, of course. Definitely crazy, not gonna lie. It gets worse as this story, continues and stuff like that. If y'all know Sarah Fields, just make sure y'all go check it out. I will put her link because somebody did ask, obviously, they that said they couldn't find Sarah Fields on X. But times that y'all do, I try to remember to put, links of different individuals I show. If I don't, y'all can just ask and I'm sure I'll, see it so I can give it to y'all. But she says here the irony is almost impressive. Supporters of Karmelo Anthony are already busy firing off emails to officials, launching campaigns, and circulating petitions to keep me out of the courtroom. The very same people now loudly complaining about the media restrictions imposed by Judge John Roach. So let's be clear, they want media in the courtroom, just not all media, only theirs. And their argument that I'm, biased. Apparently, our reporting has suddenly became controversial. It's definitely sad of what they're doing. This isn't the only time, obviously, that they've said things about Sarah Fields or, in a sense, targeted her for what she's done. Me personally, I've talked, to Sarah Fields before about some things that she's came out with, things that she obviously, investigated and looked at and that she shared with me. And one thing that I can tell you is that she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing, and I feel like that's why they look at her so much as, this threat. And because I'm telling y'all, she knows a lot and she knows what she's doing when it comes about, and how to do it. About a lot of things. Got a post here that says trial lockdown after threats, doxing, and swatting. If y'all don't know, Austin Metcalf, I think his mom house got swatted before, but I know his dad 3 times, if I'm not mistaken, 3 or 4 times. Says Judge Roach stepped in and said enough is enough. The trial of Karmelo Anthony, the teen accused of, and honestly, I'm going to be real with y'all, it happened. He literally said it did, of unaliving Austin Metcalf, is now under strict security and media restrictions after months of chaos surrounding the case. So they're talking heavy courtroom security, no free-for-all media circus, no live broadcast inside, extra protection for jurors, witnesses, and families, and they definitely need that because when I tell y'all there's a lot of witnesses, it is a lot of witnesses within this case. So here's the part of the people aren't talking about enough. The case hasn't even been fought in court. It's been fought online. People being dodged, threatened, and even swatted. So it's definitely sad about this of what they're doing, all because, Carmelo did something that changed a lot of people's lives, even his. Because I'm telling y'all, I know for a fact that me personally, seeing all the witnesses and seeing how many witnesses it was, him admitting it, just things from what I see, I know for a fact, me personally, that it's not going to be what they think it's going to be. Speaking on Carmelo Anthony's, supporters and his family and whatnot. Me personally. This update with Sarah Fields.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we finally have a little bit of breaking news regarding the Karmelo Anthony murder case. Collin County Judge Roach, who is a great judge, in my opinion, has imposed strict security and media restrictions ahead of the trial for Karmelo Anthony. Karmelo Anthony is the teen who stabbed Austin Metcalf at a track meet last year in Frisco ISD. For months, this case has been plagued with doxing, threats, and even swatting incidents, targeting witnesses and individuals closely tied to the case, including myself. As I said before, I've previously reported on efforts to secure a gag order and a protective order to protect individuals and their private information. The order includes heightened security in and around the courthouse, tight media restrictions, meaning no free-for-all and there will be no live streaming, as I previously said. There will be measures aimed at protecting jurors, witnesses, and any close family members involved with the trial, and court personnel. Other judges with scheduled meetings and court proceedings in the courthouse at this time have reportedly adjusted their own calendars and their own court proceedings and hearings. And some have moved their proceedings to be online in order to accommodate this high-profile case. Seating will be limited, with designated areas specified for family members, members of the media, and the public. The court says in the order that the doors will close promptly at 9 a.m. every morning, and no one will be admitted until recess. Security will be heightened with bag checks, as well as metal detectors at the entrance of the courthouse and possibly to the courtroom itself. I am currently awaiting further instructions from Collin County, and according to an email I have received, I am on their official list to be informed as proceedings continue. And as the situation develops. The trial is set for June 1st. I will be attending the trial. This case has crossed lines that never should have been crossed, and I am very grateful to Judge Roach for taking these precautions. More updates coming.
And it is, obviously, more and more updates coming. I know for a fact because I see it all the time coming from Sarah Fields. So make sure y'all definitely check more out, when it comes down to it. Definitely wild. I want to check some of this video out. Benny Johnson, explaining, more of what's going on. It's honestly sad. And I say that it's honestly sad because of how they're doing the Metcalfs and what they're constantly having to go through because of, just people just honestly being sick, when it comes down to it. I've stated before and I'll state again, and I'll probably state it again after this video, is that I find it wild how all of a sudden, because this is, he did this to a white kid, I find it crazy. I'm not trying to make this, a race thing, but since they're making it be out to that, you have a black kid doing this to a white kid. Why aren't they having the same energy when a black kid does it to a black kid? That's what I truly want to know. I want to know why they aren't raising money for the families, of a black kid, a family that was the victim, or a black kid that did it, That's how it's all BS. Me personally. Check it out.
I hate whataboutism, but if this stabbing had gone the other way, there would be every city block burned in this country. There would already be Karmelo Anthony statues everywhere. He'd have his own pair of Nikes, right? Like he'd have a golden casket, just like George Floyd. And there'd be parades and monuments and tears and crying. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen, facing down the 1-year anniversary of the fatal stabbing in Texas, where Austin Metcalf was stabbed in the heart in a high school track meet because Karmelo Anthony thought it wise to bring a 6-inch blade to a track meet. And over what? Apparently over a seat. He was told to move and get out of your tent. And for speaking to Karmelo Anthony, something that is, of course, disrespect, right? Like if somebody disrespects you, then you can murder them. Ever listen to a rap song? It's like how it goes. It's horrifying. It's certainly not the way that any civilized country can continue. It'll end, of course, just like South Africa. Somebody disrespects me, I kill them. Yeah. Whataboutism, ladies and gentlemen. Karmelo Anthony didn't allegedly kill Austin Metcalf. He did kill Austin Metcalf. He told the authority that he did it. 17-year-old admitted to fatally stabbing another teen boy at a track and field meet in Texas after, according to the police, "I'm not alleged, I did it," Karmelo Anthony reportedly told the cops, taken into custody, asked about the alleged stabbing. Anthony stabbed Metcalf in the heart, killing him. Metcalf told him he was sitting in the wrong chair at the match in the two schools. Now, the defense here says, well, wait a second. Karmelo Anthony stabbed him because Austin Metcalf is an angry, rage-filled white young boy who was trying to do some type of horrible racial hate crime against him. Well, lucky for us, there's video. They haven't released the video to the public, and I'm angry about that. Yeah, I'm enraged because we have a very, very short trial and hopefully a death sentence.
And honestly, that's what a lot of people, are saying when it comes down to it. Me personally, I don't really know as far as like what Judge Roach, and what the jurors are, but at the same time, like seeing Judge Roach, and I'm explaining it, more, but this is the same judge that I'm pretty sure it was a person, a teen at that. I'm pretty sure that was planning to go to places, and shoot up places. And that teen got life in prison. So this case is definitely different from somebody who's actually done something. That was just somebody that planned the attack.
But unfortunately, we don't have that. I watched the footage of the race crime that split America. What I saw shocked me, and this is how it could flip the case. There's footage of the actual stabbing and the death. Here's what the reporter saw. Why they won't release this footage to the public, I don't know. Some reporters have seen it. They all have the exact same story. In a matter of seconds, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony stabs 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, transforming a rain delay at the track meet into a crime scene. The atmosphere was totally calm and uneventful. That's important, by the way. Suddenly turned to bloodshed. 40-minute surveillance video recorded from a stationary camera on the opposite side of the football field captures a 10-minute leading up to the attack and the desperate efforts by Metcalf's twin brother, who's holding him in his arm to save his life before the paramedics arrive. So unbelievably evil. He died in his brother's arms, right?
Definitely sad.
And what was his crime? Disrespect. Listen to this. Anthony admitted to the stabbing, but he maintains that he acted in self-defense, claiming the truth will come out. Okay. Initially, Frisco police said that the altercation between the teens led to a violent encounter. However, the footage...
So basically, Karmelo Anthony did all of that, right? Did all of that, not to mention ran. He ran. And then I'm pretty sure a cop ran across the street. He ended up going to the stands, the bleachers, and they told him which way he ran. And somehow the cop ended up catching up to him. I don't know if Karmelo Anthony was like a speed walk, just trying to get out of there, freaking out. I don't know. But the cop ended up, asking, obviously where he is. Boom, catch him. Then he said, this the kid allegedly did it. He said, not alleged. I did it. Basically. And spends 12 days in jail. Judge, actually, I don't know if they had a judge here. Let me see if it's a picture of the judge. Judge right here. This is Judge Angela Tucker. This is the judge right here that actually lowered the bond for the student, that was charged with the Frisco stabbing from $1 million to $250,000. I find that completely crazy. Like I said, he did, in fact, get out pretty quick. I'm not gonna lie, he definitely got out of jail pretty quick. Me personally, and just the simple fact of her even doing this and lowering the bond is definitely wild to me. This is the new judge. This is Judge Roach. Said Roach had the authority to overturn, the decision to reduce Anthony's bond from $1 million to $250,000. That didn't happen. One thing about this, okay, so the kid, so I missaid that. That's why I said I'm glad that I had this. The kid that, and you have this Judge Roach. He is a conservative Republican. If y'all don't know Judge Roach, this judge gave a student, high school student, a former Plano West senior, at the high school, plotted a mass shooting, multiple locations, and he didn't get life. Like I said, he got 20 years. He did get 20 years. Judging by age, 18, 18 years old, he'd get out probably be right before he's 40. Me personally, I feel like that's fair. I don't know how y'all feel like, but I feel like that's fair. A lot of lives, are saved out of that. And I feel like that he needs to be watched coming out of there too. Coming out of, prison, obviously. But 20 years, sitting out for 20 years. I don't know. You never know how somebody will come out. So, judging by seeing how that obviously is, with just being honest with y'all, him giving him 20 years, this is somebody that actually did something. We got to put that in his perspective. Not to mention, remember when I told y'all it gets worse? This is a post by Sarah Fields. Karmelo goes to college. A lot of people has been asking about this. I had to find it. And it's definitely wild. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was fake. I seen Sarah post it. And it's wild. Karmelo Anthony, who is currently on house arrest for, unaliving Austin Metcalf at a high school track meet, is enrolled into Morehouse College online classes and reportedly studying criminal justice. This flyer has been circulated by Karmelo Anthony supporters. Morehouse College is private. It is a HBCU, if y'all don't know what that is. And by all means, I don't have anything against HBCUs, anything like that. I actually, if y'all don't know, I actually went to a HBCU for a total of 2 days. I know y'all probably like reckless, huh? I went to HBCU for 2 days. I'm going to tell y'all why I left. Matter of fact, I didn't even go for 2 days. I went for like a day. I'm going to give y'all a quick story before I go on to my next video, y'all, because we got 2 videos we dropping. So, if y'all don't want to hear this story, y'all can skip. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people want to hear what's going on with this story. So basically, me and my dad went to this college. I'm not going to say the college name. We went to this college. And the reason why I went to HBCU too, y'all got to think. Back then, my parents are Democrats. That's how I grew up. My uncles went to, the school and stuff like that. And I don't know. I figured, it was cool. Something to do. Like I said, I have nothing against HBCUs. I have nothing against college, and I would tell anybody. Yeah, me personally, it's not for me, college, but anyways. So we went. I went to orientation. See it around. Obviously, it's out of Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm outside of Indianapolis. I'm not Indianapolis, but it's from Indiana. It's out of out of the state. So when I went to orientation, got all my books, got all, talked to, who I needed to talk to, and I don't know, it was a little weird now thinking about it. So it did that. I don't know what it was, but me and my dad had to get back. We had to get back to Indiana for some reason, and I didn't go inside the dorm for the dorm tour. So, obviously, time had passed and this, that, and the other. I had drove down to college, and I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if I went down by myself. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I did. Something like that. Or my grandparents, somebody I went. My parents, they was in New York or something like that. So when I did that, I had went in the dorms, the building. And when I went in the building, I, seen everybody. First of all, the building was old. They had like a little place where you can, little kitchen type area, something weird. They had TVs and they had like microwaves. And, I didn't really go in there. I don't even know what it looks like. I just seen it from a distance because I didn't make it that far. I literally went inside the dorm. So the dorm, literally, I promised y'all. I don't know if this is still like this, but I promised y'all. I would not lie to y'all. That it's a suite, right? It's a suite. So when you enter the door, it's these old jail doors. Horrible doors. Now thinking about it. Brown doors. Open it. It's an area where it's like a couple chairs, a table. It's a suite, right? They have 2 doors. So it's a dorm and a dorm, and then it's a suite. And then as soon as you make that immediate turn when you open that first door, so you open up the first door, you turn right, it's a bathroom. You got a sink, you got a shower. And then you have a dorm and a dorm. And then you had a suite, little area that both of the dorms can meet up, and both of the dorms, I promise y'all, I know for a fact, it was probably the size of it wasn't a big room. It probably was smaller than my room. I ain't even gonna lie, because I got a lot of space in here. They had 3 of us in one dorm, bro. 3 of us in one dorm. Usually 2 is too many for me. I want to be myself. You know what I'm saying? 3 of us in one dorm. So imagine trying to get everything together in one dorm in like a small room. 3 of us, right? 3 on the other side. 1 suite, 1 bathroom. You mean to tell me it's 6 dudes in 1 bathroom, bro? I promise y'all. I got on the phone and I'm like, man, I don't like it. They're like, oh, you just get through it. It's okay. Just get through it. Don't. I'm like, man, I can't do this. I'm telling y'all, this is what it is. I don't like this. They're like, well, if you think about it, my nana like, well, just try to give it some time. Try to give it a day or 2. You don't like it, try to at least give it to the weekend. Go to class. Try to do something. Get some. Just try. I promise y'all, I had a 05. I had a 2005 Mustang, a yellow. When I tell y'all, I flew up out of that place. I got up out of that place the next morning. I got up. I had all my stuff. I don't even think I unpacked nothing to put in the drawers. I got all my stuff, start putting it in my Mustang. I didn't even go to sign out. I didn't even tell them I was leaving. I had to call them when I got back to Indiana. I literally got there, and I'm 28 now, so this was like 10 years ago. I literally went, and how did we get? I don't even know how we got to this. I didn't went to the store and we talking about Karmelo. I literally went and I got all my stuff. I left my mini fridge. I left all that. Like all that. They just had it for free. I'm telling y'all. Looking back, I'm glad I did it. I feel like I wouldn't be doing what I did, what I'm doing now, and I feel like my views, I feel like would probably be different, if that makes sense. Going at having parents that's Democrat, you never know though. But me personally, I don't know. I'm pretty thankful, and that I did that, and I thank God. I ain't even gonna lie. But anyways, this is wild when it comes down to this. For them to even letting this happen. This is in Atlanta, Georgia. Its estimated cost is $30,000 per semester, and I'm telling y'all. Says Texas have wondered why a family that claims to be to fear being targeted has made their lives so public. And that's what I'm saying. They went on this whole thing that they fear for their lives and they don't want this, they don't want that. But now, this is out there. He's going to Morehouse. Pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie. This right here is Officer Tatum. Definitely want to show this video because it definitely is real. I'm gonna show some of this for y'all. Check it out.
If a white teen had killed a black teen, then anybody who donated to his GoFundMe would be fired from their job, would be publicly humiliated, would be shamed. Of course, there wouldn't really be a GoFundMe that was set up. Everybody would just say, oh, that's evil. You can't just kill someone. You can't just murder someone in cold blood who's unarmed. We're against that. And so let's all move on, and the process will play out, and justice will be served, hopefully. What you have here is the inverse of that. And if you go check, man, you want to talk about a black pill, you go check the comments on the fundraiser. It's just hatred against white people. It's just like rewarding the guy for killing a white person. It's a really bad place to be in the country. Like, that's like the precursor to race wars and new civil wars and like the actual fraying of society. But Benny, it's bad, man. It's bad.
Benny, this has been going on forever. It's just that what happens when you see racial conflict, the ugly head is reared up. Black people been feeling like this forever. And I grew up in an all-black neighborhood. We hated white people. I'm being honest. Like, we felt like when I was growing up, thank God I got saved.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna say some black people, because all black people don't, you know what I mean?
And thank God I moved to a different environment. And then it opened my understanding up to, wait a minute, this is not the way that we should be behaving. But if a black kid is wrong, we feel like it's justified because of slavery and Jim Crow and all that other stuff. And I'm not saying every black person is like this, but there's a lot of black people, as you can see, Now, I'll tell anybody to do the math and do the research on this. You will never see a white criminal who've committed a crime against a police officer or anybody else get a GoFundMe. We even see George Floyd. Look at all these other people that were justifiably killed by the police. Not George Floyd, but I'm saying some of these other individuals. They still got millions of dollars in GoFundMe raised. They still got all kinds of money being raised. It's because black people, for some reason, have this racial hatred towards white people that's ingrained in them, that's almost in their bloodline. And it only takes an incident to happen like this for it to come out of them. Because you look at the comments, look what they're saying. But the people that are on the side of Metcalf, they're not. It's not a racial thing. It's that the boy was killed. He died in his brother's arms. He was at a track meet under his own tent, standing up for what was right. And he got murdered in cold blood. He was an A student. He had a chance to go to college. He was on the football team. That is why normal people are supporting him. But you will see this every time, Benny. I don't know what is going to have this change. I don't know if it's ever going to change in our society, but you're going to always see this underbelly of racism from the black community that comes up every single time these things happen. Right or wrong, the black kid was wrong. I see a lot of black people saying that he was wrong, but the majority of black people want to believe he was right.
That's because they spread false things that's on the internet, though. Like, if you have one person too, like, there's a lot of people that don't know nothing. Like I've said, I'll talk to family members. Like, I'll talk to like my people's friends and like stuff like that. People that even live in Texas, because my brother, he was in the military and he was, in Texas and stuff like that. And I've talked to people and they're like, oh, Karmelo, he was getting bullied. That's the first thing that they say. And I tell them I have to go in like, man, listen, I do this. I'm not saying I'm there, but I know a lot of the stuff. Like, y'all don't, because what they do is they'll have somebody to get on the internet. They'll get on X, they'll get on TikTok, they'll get on Instagram, they'll get on something. And they'll say things like, oh, he was bullied, or and it'll be something like, whether if it's a classmate, whether it's somebody say something to where it's like, oh, he might have been bullied. And they'll take that and they'll run with it. And then when they run with it, the whole internet, oh, he was being bullied. He had every right to do that. He was being bullied. You always got to do this, that white kid. And then that's how all that gets started. Rather than them actually knowing and looking at the police report and actually knowing, getting in there, because it's all on the internet. Just like they see it on the internet, a lot of people don't take the time to actually look at it. So that's why I get on here and I try to get them to understand a little bit more. I'm telling y'all, it's ridiculous. One thing about it, said, should Karmelo Anthony get life in prison? Me personally, I want to see what y'all say. I definitely want to see what y'all say. Let me know in the comments what y'all think about this. Definitely appreciate y'all. Much love to y'all. You already know. Catch y'all next one.